What's good? Welcome into Titans Today. I'm Abby Alonso. We're going to be going over Mel Kiper's 2-round mock draft, his latest mock draft after OBJ signing with the Ravens, all the updates that have happened since his last mock draft, and of course, some Bleacher Report wide receiver predictions. Who the Titans could land in the draft, or wide receiver, maybe so. But before we get started, guys, we have a new draft channel. I'm not the only one covering all things Titans about the draft. We actually have a draft channel that covers all 32 teams and what's going on leading up to April 27th. If you want to be in the know of not just what's going on with Tennessee, but what's going on across the league, make sure you subscribe to that channel. It will be beneficial. You will know everything going on. Go ahead and head to youtube.com/chatNFL and subscribe to our new draft channel. We're going to start off today's show with Mel Kiper's 2-round mock draft, the latest mock draft from the ESPN analyst. And guys, hold on to your seats because it's got quite the trade involving Tennessee. Mel Kiper starts off with this. Tennessee would have to give up a lot in this trade. He's talking about them trading up to that number 3 spot from the Cardinals. The closest recent comp is the Miami-San Francisco swap in 2021. The 49ers acquired the number 3 overall pick in that draft for the number 12 selection, future first-round picks in the 2022 and 2023 drafts, and a third-rounder in 2022. Again, he is emphasizing on how much has to be given up in order for a trade like this to happen. In this mock scenario, Tennessee would send Arizona picks numbers 11 and 41 in this draft, plus a 2024 first round selection and likely either a 2025 first or second rounder as well. And don't forget, new Titans general manager Ran Carthon joined the organization from San Francisco. So there's that link there that Carthon has been involved in a big trade, a big draft trade before. It's not unlikely that he'd do it again. It is going to require a lot, but I'm going to tell you who he thinks that they're going to go after, and maybe it's worth it. Bryce Young off the board, CJ Stroud off the board, Anthony Richardson to the Titans. We've talked about this before. Kiper thinks that Anthony Richardson is worth Tennessee trading up to that number 3 spot in the draft to grab. We know that the Titans are in a little bit of a chaotic or murky waters in the quarterback situation. This might be something worth doing, and this is why he believes so. Here's that quarterback for the Titans. The 6'4" Richardson might have the highest ceiling of any prospect in this class if he puts together all of his tools and isn't rushed into being the guy in week 1. He could be a star. It's a big if, though, because he was extremely inconsistent as a passer in college and has a ways to go to clean up his mechanics. Now, the hope for Tennessee is that it can coach him up, unlock some of those traits, and let him show his dual threat ability, and it could sit him behind Tannehill in year 1. Yes, you look at his stats from 2022, they're not horrible, but you've got a lot of work to do. I think there's a lot of untapped potential here. Completion percentage of 53.8. You've got to get that percentage up. The passing yards, okay, 2,500. Rushing yards, this is a big plus for Anthony Richardson. He's good in the pocket. He's able to avoid being sacked. He can make things happen. That is a good a trait for an offense that is trying to fix that O-line, because he's going to face a lot of pressure, it looks like, if he does end up in Tennessee. But again, a lot of things to fix, flaws to fix. They are fixable. His ceiling is very high, but you have to wonder, is the trade worth it? Do you trade up for Anthony Richardson? Because there are a lot of ifs, because he's got the potential. The ceiling is high, like I just said. He's got the potential to do some great things, but you have to get him there. Now, the plus of this would be you trade up for him. He's got a year behind Ryan Tannehill. He can learn. He's got time to develop. As Kiper pointed out, he's going to need time to adjust on whatever team he ends up with. You grab him this year, he's got that extra year while Tannehill finishes out his contract. Richardson learns from him, and hopefully by the time 2024 rolls around, he's fixed a lot of those flaws. He's gotten better with accuracy again, this guy has probably the strongest arm in this quarterback class. So it might be worth trading up, but you do have to take into consideration there are other needs on this roster that should probably be addressed in round one. Let me know what you think. Should the Titans trade up to draft Anthony Richardson? Now, specifically for this question, I'm asking if they should trade up for Anthony Richardson. Let me know in the comment section. Type Y for yes, type N for no. If you think they should trade up, but you think they should trade up for somebody else, let me know. If you think it's stupid for them to trade up, let me know that as well. I love to hear from you guys. Alrighty, and the next thing we're going to talk about today, Bleacher Report predicted some landing spots for the top receivers in the 2023 NFL draft class. We're going to get to that in just a minute. But guys, if the Titans make a move, we are going to make sure that you guys are in the know, that you know what's going on. Again, we're 2 weeks outside of the draft. There's been a lot of meetings happening. Free agency is still going on. I know it's kind of fallen on the back burner because we've been focused on the draft, but it's still going on. And we just saw a huge move get made out of nowhere. Odell Beckham ended up in Baltimore, signing with them over the weekend. These things happen. They happen at the most random times during the offseason. So if you want to make sure that you get a notification of whatever the Titans do decide to do leading up to the draft and even after, make sure you hit that sub button. We are pushing for 7,000 subscribers before the draft. It's going to be a close one, but I don't doubt that we can do it. We're currently at 6,621. Hit the sub button. Let's get to 7,000 before the draft. Bleacher Report did predict some wide receivers, or the top wide receivers in the draft, to land in certain places, and they have Rashee Rice from SMU landing in Tennessee with pick number 72. Now, given we just spoke about what would happen in Mel Kiper's draft, this might work out, going to get a receiver after round one. Rashee Rice knows how to win with the ball up for grabs. At 6'1", 204 pounds, he's not a big-bodied pass catcher, but shows great play strength. If a quarterback needs someone to come up with a 50-50 ball in traffic, Rice is the guy to target downfield. Rice has the ability to line up the perimeter or in the slot, as he can beat smaller defensive backs on shorter routes and bigger cornerbacks who lack vertical speed. Similar to TCU's Quentin Johnston, Rice could show a little more physicality when challenged on intermediate routes, though that may be connected to a lack of refinement in his route running. He has to do a better job of sitting at the top of his routes to find holes in zone coverage. While Rice sharpens the technical aspects of his game, he can use physical tools to win matchups. Keep in mind that he caught 19 touchdown passes over the past 2 years, showing off his nose for the end zone. After trading A.J. Brown during the first round of last year's draft, the Tennessee Titans need a perimeter playmaker who could complement Treylon Burks. Tennessee should make a concerted attempt to fill a void at wide receiver. Whew, I'm out of breath. That was a lot. Broke down a lot right there. But the last thing I want to leave you with, they've got to fill the void at receiver. Now, if you make a move like trading up in the draft to go grab Anthony Richardson, Rashee Rice is a guy you could get later on at pick number 72, and he wouldn't be bad. He's good at contested catches, somebody that can go downfield. And if you're Ryan Tannehill, or say you start Anthony Richardson for some reason this year, and they struggle a little bit with accuracy, this is a guy that can go up and get the ball when it's kind of floating. 233 receptions, 3,111 yards, an average of 13.4 yards per catch, and 25 touchdowns in his career. In 2022 alone, he had 96 of those receptions, 1,300 yards, averaged 14.1 yards per carry, and had 10 touchdowns. Took a huge leap in 2022, meaning he's on the up and up. Again, still has a few things to learn in regards to route running and a couple other small fixes. But again, if you're going to go make a huge splash in this draft, like we talked about earlier in this video, to go grab a quarterback, this is a guy who may still be on the board after you do all the shenanigans you're going to do in the first round. Looking at this wide receiver room, this is nothing new. It is the same thing we have talked about. This is just not going to fly for this season. You cannot leave it where it is. Treylon Burks, Nick Westbrook-Akine, Kyle Phillips, Racey McMath. You've got to do something here. You've got to put somebody who can play on the perimeter, who can complement Treylon Burks. And look, again, if you wait and don't go after a receiver in the first round, maybe you do go after Rashee Rice in the second or third or wherever he is. I think it is a good choice if you don't address it earlier, as I just said. It might be in the Titans' best interest to actually address the wide receiver room in the first round if they don't make a huge move and try to plan for the future. But you got to weigh your pros and cons here. Do you trade up for a quarterback and ignore your needs until later on? Or do you prioritize the receiver room, the O-line, and worry about the quarterback situation later on? I don't know. But I think Rashee Rice could be a good addition to this wide receiver room. Should the Titans draft Rashee Rice? Let me know down in the comment sections. Type D for draft, type P for pass. As always, we appreciate y'all for watching. We'll see y'all soon. Tighten up.